Hi there! Welcome to Craft and Create Club's Back to School box. I'm so excited about this one. It's going to be so much fun. Let's open up our box and see what we've got. So inside your box, you've got a bag of crinkle paper. You have a roll of tape. You have some pieces of cray paper. You have a clear plastic bottle. You have a canvas zipper bag, craft bag, or pencil bag, going back to school. Some fabric paint. You have another container, 3 containers of white. If you look on the bottom of them, 2 are labeled with G, because there's Mod Podge in there, which is glue, and 1 is labeled with a P, that's glitter paint. You have 4 pieces of shiny white cardstock. You have some paper with some holes punched in it. 2 pieces of string. A piece of cardstock. A little baggie that has some paper clips in it and a push pin. Be very careful because the push pin is sharp, so don't hurt yourself with that. A fun pencil, a brush, 2 pieces of mesh, and then the last thing is a frame that has some mesh attached to it as well. So what we're doing this month is we are going to design and paint our canvas craft bag or pencil bag, and we are going to make we have enough supplies to make 2 journals. We're going to make our own paper covers for 2 journals. What you're also going to need to work on the project is you're going to need some paper toweling. You're going to need some scissors. You're going to need some water. And then I have a 9x13 pan here. But you can use a 9x13 pan, or you can just pour the water right over the sink. That will work too. All right, so let's get going. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start on one side of our craft bag. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the piece of cardstock that you have in your bag, in your box, and you want to put it inside the bag. And what that does is it helps for the paint not to go through onto the other side. Okay, then you're going to take your tape and you're going to do whatever design you want. Okay, I'm going to start with some stripes on the bottom of my case. I like stripes. I think they're fun. And then I think on one side I'm going to add some checks. And then on the top I'm going to do some fun triangles. Once you've taped your design, then you're ready to start painting. So like always when we paint, we want to make sure we protect our surface. We wear clothes that's okay to get paint on. Make sure you have some water to clean your brush out. And then some paper towels to also dry off your brush. Now try not only to use half the paint on the back because you get on this side because you have the other side still to paint. So for me, I'm going to do all 3 colors on this side. So I'm going to open up one of each of my containers. while the paint is still wet, remove the tape very carefully off the entire bag. That will expose your pattern. So this is our final bag that we've come up with. Now the paint's still wet, so we're going to let it dry while we get started on our journal cover, and then you can come back and paint the other side when you're ready. Next, we're going to get started on our journal cover. This is an example of what the final product is going to be. You can design it however you like, and we're going to go through those steps. So you'll need your crinkle paper, you're going to need your plastic bottle, you're going to end up using your mesh and your frame during this part, and you're also going to use your crepe paper. So what you're going to do first is you're going to open up your bottle, and you're going to fill the bottle with the crinkle paper, but you don't want to pack it really tight. Keep it kind of loose, but you're going to fill it all the way to the top. Okay, so not super tight. That's more than enough right there. Then you've got different colors of crepe paper. Now you can do, what the crepe paper is going to do is it's going to almost put like a little confetti inside of your cover. You can do whatever colors you want. For this one, I did blue and yellow. I think for this one, I'm going to do red and purple. I like those colors. So what I'm basically doing is I'm just going to fold this up. And you can make your confetti however you want, but basically you just want to take your scissors and you're just going to make really small sections. Now if you want the back and the front to be the same exact colors, then you need to save half of this. Only put half of it in. If you're going to do completely two different colors, then you can use as much of it as you want. Now you're going to take and you're going to fill the bottle all the way up with water. Screw the lid on nice and tight, and then you're going to shake it up. Shake it up really good, because what you're going to do is you want this confetti to get all within the paper. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Now you're going to let this sit for 1 hour. So for 1 hour, it's going to sit in the bottle. But during that hour, you need to shake it at least 3 times. So just every few minutes, get up and just shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay? And then what's going to happen is the water is going to get very milky and look purple and red or whatever different colors that you do. It's going to change the color of the water, and it's going to bleed into that white also. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to wait for 1 hour to get started on the next portion. All right, after the at least 1 hour, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to look very milky, and your paper is going to break up. So that's with you shaking it throughout that hour and letting it sit. Okay, you can let it sit longer if you want to, even overnight. But this is only enough for one section. For the front cover of your journal, you're gonna need to make a second batch for your second cover, for the back cover. Okay, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna unscrew it. We have our screen. You can do this right over the sink, but in here I'm gonna put it in this pan. You're gonna take your screen, your frame, and you're gonna set it right down inside the sink or in your container here. You're gonna take one of your mesh pieces, put that right over the top, and now you're gonna pour your paper in the frame. Okay, and what you're gonna do, you might have a little bit extra, you'll have to see. That's why you don't want to fill it up all the way, because with you don't want to make it really tight with the crepe paper because you don't need that much. Plus, it helps it break down the crepe paper by you having room to shake. Now, at this point, if you wanted to add flowers or some grass clippings or maybe some essential oils, things like that, you can get really creative and do that. I have a cover here that we actually put some little flower petals in. So you can add those, you can lay those right on the top, or you can put those underneath, or you can do both. Whatever you want, definitely use your imagination. Now you're going to take your second screen, your second mesh screen, you're going to put it over the top because this is going to hold it together. You need to take it out of the water and just squeeze some of that water out. Okay? You got to squeeze it. You have to get all that water out. And this is where your paper towels are going to come in handy too. Really squeeze that out. Squeeze that water out. Now, you're going to lift this mesh screen so it looks just like that. You got to get the water out even more. So we're going to put some underneath, some more paper towel. I'm going to put some on top. I'm actually going to use my bottle. We need to screw the lid on really tight if you have water left. I still have water left, so. You're going to use this and press it down. So that's going to get the water out and it's going to make it nice and flat. Okay, so now we got a lot of water out of it. At this point, this is what it's going to look like. Okay? So you can see mine's got lots of purple and red little confetti flecks all over. So what you're going to do now is you can gently take this off, be very careful. You can take this and lay this on a piece of newspaper or another piece of paper towel and you're going to let it sit overnight. Then what you're going to do is you're going to repeat all of those steps again. Fill the bottle up with the crepe paper, nice and loose. Put your confetti in there. Fill it up with water almost to the top. Shake it up so that confetti gets all over. Then let it sit for an hour, but during that hour, make sure you shake it up a bunch, 3 or 4 times throughout that hour. All right? All right, now we're going to actually assemble our journals. So once your paper is dry, these are your covers. So one of my covers, I use blue and yellow specks. The other color, I use green, blue, and yellow specks. And I put some flower petals in there. For the flower petals, you're going to make sure that this is on the front. I want this to be my front. But when we're all done, you should have enough Mod Podge to where you're going to be able to color over these flowers just to seal them in, because that'll glue them in so they don't fall off on you. All right, so in your box, you also will have 4 pieces of this kind of shiny cardstock. What you're going to do is this is going to actually help support your covers. All right, so you're only going to need 2 of them right now, because we're only going to work on 1 journal. You have enough supplies to make 2 complete journals, but we're going to work on the first one now. You're also going to need, you've got sheets of paper. You have enough sheets of paper to make 2 journals. So what you're going to do is you're going to do sections of 2 sheets. So there's 2 sheets here. You're going to have 4 sections, 4 sets of 2. All right, so separate those. The rest of it can get put aside so that when you work on your next journal, you can use it for your next journal. All right, so first steps. We're going to open up. Remember, this is when you're going to need this little container of the 3 white ones. 2 of them are glue. This is the Mod Podge in here. Those are the 2. This last one that says P is paint. It's paint with glitter in it. So if you want to glitter up your canvas pouch or glitter up the front of your journal when you're done, you've got a little bit of extra glitter paint to add some sparkle. get your brush, clean your brush, make sure your brush was clean from working earlier. Stick that right on there. The glue will make this pliable because it's going to actually make the paper wet, and that's okay because it's all going to dry nice and hard. Take your paper clips, let this dry, set it aside, and then work on the other one. Now that it's all together, you can trim the edges if you want to. If you want to cut off some of this jagged edge, you can. Just take your scissors just like that. And you can go closer to the cardstock if you'd like to. Honestly, I kind of like the jagged edges. I think it looks very homemade, and I prefer that. But you do whatever you want. It's your project. So next what we're going to do, now we're going to take our push pin. So you've already got the outlines in here of where the holes are going to be, where we're going to bind our journal, but we've got to go through our covers that we just made. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your push pin, and all you're going to do is you're just going to outline around the hole, go through. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. But this will come up, you'll see some of it might come apart a little bit on the top. That's all right. Once we've poked through the holes on both of the covers, so now you can see through the holes, now you're going to get your sections of paper. So you want 2 sheets together, and you want 4 of these. So 8 pieces total, 2 sets. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold them exactly in half. And then your holes should line up, just like that. Okay, so we have our folded paper. Now we're going to take these holes and we're going to line them up with our cover. We're going to put the back cover on also. And this is where you're going to take your paper clips off on one side. And you're going to use them to hold everything together. Make sure your holes line up. Take some of your tape and tape the edges around your string. This will help it slide through the holes on the journal. Once you've slipped both of the strings through, you're going to tie it. Make sure you don't tie it really tight, because if you tie it really tight, you won't be able to actually open your journal up. And then if you want to tie a bow, you can tie a bow. Otherwise, you can just cut it off and leave it straight. Once you're all done with your projects, please share pictures. Don't forget though, you do have some glitter glue, so if you want to go over any part of your canvas bag, you totally can. Or if you want to paint the cover of your journal, you can, or even some of the pages inside. You've got some extra glitter glue for that. Please share your pictures. I can't wait to see you next month.